Atyatu, and my topic were general education requirements. First, let me define what general education requirements are for at least the California college system. The Cal Poly website itself says that GE general education courses help students broaden their knowledge and skills beyond the major and develop capacities necessary to participate fully in the workplace, a diverse society, and an interconnected world. The university believes that general education is of equal importance as the education you receive in your major for your future success as an informed, empowered, and responsible individual. Now, at first, this sounds like a great deal. As you go into college, you're going to be taking a whole bunch of different classes not related to your major, so that way, in case you want to switch majors, there'll be tons of other classes lined up for you to take. However, this is not the case in my point. My major claim is that GE requirements take an unnecessary amount of time and costs for our students in college. First, by showing you the minimum amount of time it takes to complete said GEs, and showing you the cost that these GEs bring. Now, my first point, the time it takes to complete GEs. Taking the maximum amount of units possible to complete GE requirements takes about a year and a quarter of school for Cal Poly. That's with the quarter system. It takes at least 2 years to complete GE requirements with the semester system. Now, a student isn't guaranteed they're going to pass every class. Having to retake a class means adding more time to a person's schedule. And with so many classes to retake, with so many classes to take, retaking a class isn't really in your best interest. The GE requirements are a total of 58 units in 4 different areas with three upper division classes in those 4 fields. So even though this is an incredibly amount of units to take, every major and every student must take the same class. Therefore, this creates an unneeded competition for these classes. You will have, even though it's unnecessary, even though you would find it unnecessary for, let's say, an ME major to take a history class or a biology major to take a dance class, every class must take the same class. Therefore, you'll have the entire school gunning for one class. And one problem you may also have with this, I've heard it many times before, is that teachers will only give spots to those who need them. What I mean by this is, how many of you have heard from teachers, I will only allow you in this class if you're a senior and you absolutely need this class to graduate. And I don't know about you, but when I was a freshman, I was nowhere near that point. So I was actually I was actually knocked off the wait list plenty of times because seniors had to take that class before me. On to my next on to my next point, showing the cost that these GEs bring. At Cal Poly Pomona, the cost of a full-time student every quarter, not including the summer quarter, is $1,668.63, or $5,005.89 per year. That means a student will pay at least $6,674.52 to finish GEs before possibly touching their core classes. 54% of these students use some type of financial aid, myself included. I've used so far Pell Grants and loans both. The rest either pay out of pocket or use some type of scholarships. And even scholarships, most of the time, won't pay for all your total tuition. This means about a quarter of students, 23% use student loans. So this means about a quarter of students will be in debt by the time will be in thousands of dollars of debt when they graduate. The problem with GEs for me is that I told you it took you a year and a half, about a year and a quarter to finish. This is the best case scenario. Just a quick little thing. Raise your hand if you're taking 20 units this quarter. That's what I thought. We aren't all perfect students, and we all can't knock them out like they think we can. So, in conclusion, I'm saying that GEs as a whole add way too much time and cost to a student while they're pursuing their degree in college. Perhaps a good solution would be even lessen degrees, maybe one class per area, or maybe even getting rid of them altogether and maybe moving into the high school system. Thank you.
All right, I think you should start with that quote that you have. I think that works better instead of just telling us what the topic is. Use the quote first. Then you label your proposition fairly clearly. There are multiple parts in the proposition as it's phrased, and then you kind of basically repeat those parts as the preview for the supporting points. So it sounds like you kind of got stuck in a groove there, and those should be a little bit more distinct. The definition is fine. You give us some background on what the justification was originally. We never come back to that justification because all of your argument seems to be about time and money issues. And so you have to show that there are significant restrictions, for instance, on the time element. If you could show that the increased amount of time that's occurred between over the years that's taken people longer to complete their degrees, to exit from the university, that the average time, for instance, for people graduating is no longer 4 years, but it's 5 or 6 years, and that it's primarily because of expanded GE requirements. I think you've got a pretty good argument. But if you compare the GE requirements to 20 years ago versus today, the problems about timing and access largely have to do with bureaucratic money issues, not really the GE requirements. One way to solve those bureaucratic money issues might be to change the GE requirements, but I'm not sure that that shows that they're unnecessary. And I think that that's part of the argument also. You need a third point that talks about how, I mean, you mentioned it even at the end, maybe we should be moving some of these someplace else or getting rid of them. Well, could we do without some of them? Are they, if you say they're unnecessary, if they don't advance people's ability to function, if there's if something else should take greater priority, although you've got to be careful about making a value argument, you need some criteria and some standard by which we can measure that. I don't think there's a lot of controversy on how much time it takes. That's pretty straightforward stuff, and you presented that information pretty well. The cost issue, it just represents a percentage of your total cost and investment in your education, which is fine. I think, once again, if you had some information suggesting that graduate schools don't pay much attention to the GE requirements, or that employers don't feel that you need to have those kinds of requirements, and that's not something that they value when they're hiring, I think you'd be having a little bit more controversy and a little bit more dispute on that. I thought you did a very nice job presenting to the audience. You look at us the whole time and you speak very smoothly. Like I said, there's just an argument, there's an implied argument here that we've got too much of the one thing, and that's the part of the argument that doesn't get as well developed as it could. All right, thank you.